After introducing and fighting hard for a compromise bill to expand background checks on gun sales last April, we know that here, Senator Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, is forging an alternative to the current resolution before Congress on military action in Syria. He's joined right now by freshman Democrat from North Dakota, Heidi Heitkamp, on that. The two Senate moderates are floating a draft resolution that gives diplomacy one last chance. Manchin and Heitkamp's proposal gives Syrian President Bashar al-Assad 45 days to sign an international chemical weapons ban or face the threat of all elements of U.S. military power. It requires President Obama to provide Congress a diplomatic plan to end the violence in Syria and compels him to building more international support before striking Syria. Both Manchin and Heitkamp have announced their intentions to vote no on the current resolution to authorize the president to use military force. Senator Joe Manchin joins us right now. Senator Manchin, thank you. The problem, let me just go through where you stand. Do you deny there's any question, or do you believe there's any question about whether Saddam Hussein used chemical weapons and he ordered the action?
You mean President Assad, Chris? And
yeah.
First of all, his regime, I don't deny that the evidence they put forth shows that his regime used weapons, chemical weapons, on civilians. I don't, to take it any further than that, Assad is saying today, with an interview that we saw this morning, that he didn't do it or didn't know about it or didn't order it. Now, with all that being said, all we're saying is let diplomacy try before we have an imminent strike, which we know will not secure the weapons, Chris. It's not going to go in there and send boots on the ground to make sure that we've secured them. We could accidentally hit one of these weapons and cause more collateral damage, which just enrages the Muslim communities and countries against us even more. So I don't see an imminent threat to the United States of America. I think diplomacy and more diplomacy should be used.
You know, on Wednesday, when you have to vote for cloture to decide whether this measure even comes up for a vote, how will you vote?
Chris, if it's a procedure vote, which we will have first, to get on the bill, and I've been assured that our resolution, our amendment will be able to be voted upon, I want to move on the bill and have a vital debate on this, have a very meaningful debate. I think we should be on the bill to be able to talk about it and have an open process to where our amendments are allowed to be offered. Then after that will come cloture on that to close the debate, and I will vote opposing that if we have not got a better alternative than what we have in front of us now.
So you'll vote against final passage or even having a final vote on the Obama resolution if you can't get yours approved?
Well, or something that's more moderate. I'm hoping between now and Wednesday, calmer heads will prevail. I really do. Russia has put out a proposal today which is very much mirrored to what Senator Heitkamp and I have been working on and talking to many other senators, which says, listen, this country, Syria, should be part of the Chemical Weapons Convention. That way we will be able to not only secure the weapons, destroy the weapons, and prevent any more ever being made.
But Secretary Kerry said that his comment along those lines was rhetorical. He said it late this afternoon, and he said that he doesn't take seriously the Russian proposal in this regard. He doesn't take this serious at all, and you do.
Let me just say this. I'm not involved directly with the diplomatic talks that have been going on, but if someone comes out on an international situation as a game player as this and says that we believe this should be done and we're going to make sure that we do everything we can to bring Syria in. Syria says they haven't used it. What would make you believe that Syria would use it now with the whole world on them and knowing the international community could turn against them? What would you think that Russia would have to gain? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me what they would have to gain, but they have more to lose if they don't fulfill their commitment and try to help bring peace.
But the president drew a red line, and there's rumors or a belief, in fact, that this isn't the first time in August, wasn't the first time that Bashar Assad used chemical weapons, and now you're saying that somehow, well, here's the problem. First two problems. Colin Powell, who we all respect, calls him a pathological liar. He said that a couple days ago. He doesn't trust Bashar Assad to say anything. On Charlie Rose the other night, in the interview that's going to be on tonight in full, he basically says, I don't know anything about any use of nuclear weapons or chemical weapons. He just denies the whole thing.
Sure.
He says it never happened. How can you make a deal with a guy that's basically, a barefaced liar?
We're not trying to make a deal with him, Chris. We're just saying sign up. Sign the
what would that mean?
Well, basically it means that you have to join in the Chemical Weapons Commission, and that organization is going to have basically oversight. If they're part of it and we're part of it, and we say that they haven't lived by it, then we can bring the international community along with us. We have nobody now, Chris.
Okay.
Nobody.
Let's do the math. Let's do the math on your proposal. I'm taking it seriously now. 19 days now, as of now, since the Bashar Assad regime used chemical weapons.
Right.
It'll take another couple weeks to get this thing squared away and pass both houses. If you prevail and get a conference report out of both houses, that's another 2 weeks. Then another 45 days on top of that. You're talking to the United States going to war 77 weeks after the event occurred. I mean, that's
Chris,
an incredible delay. I've never heard of a country saying, I'm going to war with you 77 weeks from now.
Chris, we haven't, first of all, I don't believe we should go to war at any time over there. If money or military might was going to change that part of the world, we'd have done it by now. $1.6 trillion, 12 years of war, we haven't changed it. But with that being said, it's been, even the administration has told us in all the secured briefings we've had, Chris, that it wasn't a time element. We could take out these strategic points that they want to hit at any time. So if it's not basically strategic or a timely manner, then what makes the difference of the rush? If you can have diplomatic relationships building and try to get more of the international community joining us. Right now, as I've said before, we're going it alone. And during that 45 period of time, Chris, also you're going to have the UN meeting. They have a meeting scheduled, the 68th meeting that they have.
Well, it looks to me like you're voting no this week, and you're hoping to come up with a third alternative. But it looks to me like if people like you are against the president, I don't see how he gets 60 votes.
I'd say it's a hard reach right now for 60. I really do believe. You have 40-some that have said they're undecided. Trust me, I know that more are decided, just haven't declared where they are. So it's going to be a hard lift. Chris, this does not elevate itself to imminent danger of the United States of America. And we have seen from the past 12 years, that part of the world, we cannot make a difference. Unless the Arab League and the Arab nations, if they start moving and start doing something, then it would be our support. And I've said
they're
this.
not doing it.
Hey, Chris, a superpower does not mean just because you have super might and super military, you better have super negotiating powers, super diplomacy, super humanitarian aid. An awful lot goes with that.
We know where you stand. Thank you very much, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia. Up next, the story that has attracted 12 times more web traffic than Syria. This is not good for the country, by the way. And this is Hardball, the place for politics.